Hello and welcome to Global Matters. On the program, we'll bring you issues of international relevance to Africa and indeed Nigeria. On the show today, we'll start by talking with the Palestinian Ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Abdullahi Shawish, on the seemingly unending conflict between Israel and the Palestinian people. You recall that on July 3rd, the Israeli army launched a major raid on Jenin Refugee camp, a major area and ground offensive. It was Israel's biggest military operation in the Palestinian territory in years. The Israeli government described it as an extensive counter-terrorism effort. The unusual and high-handed raid killed and injured the occupied population, destroyed their homes, and displaced thousands of people. There have been divergent responses from the international community. The White House said it supported Israel's security and right to defend its people against Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other terrorist groups. The British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, said the Israeli army needed to have exercised restraint. The United Nations, in a rare condemnation of Israel, faulted the army's excessive use of force. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres criticized Israel for not allowing injured people to receive medical care and preventing humanitarian workers from attending to those in need. Let us listen to some of the issues raised in their track-ups.
You know, as you all know, and we have said this many times, we support certainly Israel's security and right to defend its people against Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other terrorist groups. It is imperative to take all possible steps to protect civilians from harm, and measures need to be taken to improve the humanitarian situation on the ground and restore critical services like electricity and water to the civilian population. So don't have anything more to share beyond that, but certainly we are monitoring things very closely.
I strongly condemn all acts of violence against civilians, including acts of terror. Israel's airstrikes and ground operations in a crowded refugee camp were the worst violence in the West Bank in many years, with a significant impact on civilians, including more than 100 injured and thousands forced to flee. Schools and hospitals were damaged, water and electricity networks were disrupted, and people in need were prevented from accessing essential care and relief. All those injured must have access to medical care, and humanitarian workers must be able to reach everyone in need. I once again call on Israel to abide by its obligations under international law, including the duty to exercise restraint and use only proportional force, and the duty to minimize damage and injury and respect and preserve human life. The use of airstrikes is inconsistent with the conduct of law enforcement operations. I also remind Israel, as the occupying power, that it has a responsibility to ensure that the civilian population is protected against all acts of violence. I understand Israel's legitimate concerns with its security, but escalation is not the answer. It simply bolsters radicalization and leads to a deepening cycle of violence and bloodshed. Restoring the hope of the Palestinian people in a meaningful political process leading to a two-state solution and the end of the occupation is an essential contribution by Israel to its own security.
White House spokesperson and the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres speaking concerning the Jenin issue. Let us give you some brief background of Jenin Refugee Camp. Jenin Refugee Camp is adjacent to the Palestinian city of Jenin in the north of the occupied West Bank. The camp's registered population is fairly about 24,000 people, and due to its very short distance to the 1967 line, about just 5 kilometers, every Palestinian resistance from that area draws extra attention from the Israeli government. Now, to give greater perspective to the discussion today, we are being joined by the Palestinian Ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Abdullahi Shawish, on the show. I will be coming back to him shortly. Don't go away.
Raymond Dokpesi, 1951 to 2023.
to bring you global issues that shape the world, issues of global agenda that determine our national and common interests, our interests especially in Africa and indeed in Nigeria. And we bring you the behind the scene of the stories through our studio analysis.
Good and efficient legal process is one of the main things that we realize lead to the breaches of human rights in Nigeria.
My assessment of the war in Ukraine is very unfortunate.
The reports and the evidential base we're getting about attacks upon Christians, attacks upon Muslims.
We follow the stories and bring you the report from anywhere to everywhere. This is Kavi Oscar. This flight is heading to Budapest. I'll be boarding this bus now. He's heading straight to Medica. With this hand that has represented the symbol of unity after the war in Rwanda, either global, foreign, or diplomatic relations, even diaspora matters. We bring you all here on Global Matters.
Raymond Dopasy, 1951 to 2023.
We work to bring you global issues that shape the world, issues of global agenda that determine our national and common interests, our interests especially in Africa and indeed in Nigeria. And we bring you the behind the scene of the stories through our studio analysis.
Good and efficient legal process is one of the main things that we realize lead to the breaches of human rights.
All right, thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. And the program is still Global Matters. I've got my guest joining me on the program today, and he's the Palestinian Ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Abdullahi Shawish, who will be speaking more to the issue we're looking at on the program today. Ambassador, thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. You listened to my intro on the Jenin raid, the Jenin refugee camp raid. Tell us what happened, what led to that extensive security raid by the Israeli forces.
Thank you so much, of course, for having me today. Indeed, I would like to add very significant issue to your introduction to when it came to the refugee camp. One of the most significant issue that, unfortunately, no one would like to remember it, that this is a refugee camp. This means that this will take us back to the 1948, which means that all the inhabitants of this refugee camps came, or at least we can restfully saying that they are completely ethnically cleansing from their homeland, which is Haifa. And when it came to the root cause issue, we will back to this exact 1948, and to say that this is the essence of the problem, this is the main issue of the problem. So that when you ask what is the first point of this problem, we should back to the 1948 and Nakba, so that when those people and their of course grandfathers and grandmothers was uprooted and ethnically cleansing from Haifa, became a refugee in this very dense refugee camp. So that this is the essence of the problem. If you want to go back to the essence of the problem, or the main root cause of the problem, it was 75 years ago. And if you want to go a bit back to this problem, we can restfully saying that it is started by the notorious and despicable declaration, or Balfour Declaration, that was the British Kingdom, the United Kingdom at that time, 1917, issued it to the Jewish people to build and to build their state in our historical land. This is the main essence and the main cause of the problem.
But according to the Palestinian and according to the Israeli government, that wasn't the problem. His forces were attacked while conducting routine security movement around the area with a bomb, with ammunition, with high-end, high-caliber, sophisticated weapons. And for a couple of hours, his forces were demobilized within that territory. And that resulted in Israel going all out, one, to rescue his soldiers, two, to deal with those security threats?
This is the Israeli claim, which contained two very important, again, pillars. The first one, they did not want to remember the 1948. They did not want to remember the refugee issue. They did not want to remember the 181 General Assembly resolution. They did not want to remember anything.
But isn't that an international issue that is being settled, though not fully settled, because there has been no absolute resolution to it by the way of this two-state agreement?
No, I'm coming.
Until that is settled, should the Palestinian people not allow peace reign until the two-state issue is resolved?
No, it's not true. But again, we back to the propaganda. Again, there is two pillars to this very exact story, or very exact point that you mentioned. The first one, Israel is trying and will continue to try, with it is supported, to neglect and to completely forget the what's so-called Nakba, according to them, and 1948, which is the essence, the main root cause of the problem. To solve any problem, there is a very old provision saying that take the bull by horns. To solve any problem, to control it, take the bull by horns. So that we should again stress that this is the main issue. Then when it came to the security, or this is the main root of the problem, which is Nakba 1948. Now back to that, what did they claiming? That they are patrolling our homeland, or the remaining part of the occupied homeland, just to secure themselves. Come on, are you occupying me, and then you are seeking the security inside the occupied Palestinian territory? This is not logic. This is completely not logic at all. We should try to start thinking by logic, thinking far away from the Israeli propaganda, which is fully and totally supported by the Western country media. This is the main issue. We need to look again to the root of the problem, then start thinking logically. How come you are preventing or defending yourself while you are attacking my home? I'm not coming to your home. I'm not going to Tel Aviv to attack you so that you are coming to...
But we have had instances of attacks, even right in Jerusalem. We've had instances of terror attack, people killed either by bomb or even during the Jenin crisis.
Yes, I know.
Right in the city of Jerusalem, we had a bomb blast that killed some Israelis.
My question.
Why should the Palestinian people not, allow the international resolution to finally take its root instead of resulting into attacks? And that's the position of the U.S. government, that Israel reserves the right to defend itself.
Again, you raise three pillars here. First and foremost, what is the first pillar is we are attacking the Israel. The question is the question is when we should start measuring the problem. I'm trying to stress that the problem was started long time ago, before the Palestinian attacking them. And you cannot accuse the Palestinian that they are attacking the Israeli occupation, then they neglect the day before they attacking them or killing one of those snipers and those soldiers. So this is the first pillar. The second pillar you are talking about...
How do we deal with this first pillar?
I should reply to your two pillar. The second pillar, that is the Palestinians should give the chance for, or something like this, the chance for the peace process. Come on, we sacrificed, we already gave up. We already said that we will go to build our state in only 22% of our historical lands. What is more sacrification, more than that, so that the Palestinian to give a chance for the peace process? We did everything. We are not militarized people. President Abbas did his everything. He did not spare any effort to sit or to ask them to come to the negotiation table. Then they are clearly declaring that they will not go to the negotiation table. Instead of that, they continue building settlement, continue demolition the Palestinian homes, continue killing the innocent Palestinian. A lot of innocent Palestinians. We are not killed just because we are resisting the occupation. In many of our cases was killed just because they believe, or some of the soldiers that believe that this is a fun. And I'm gonna give you some examples. Mahmoud Ra'fat Badran, he's my friend's son, was killed for nothing. Nadim Nawara was killed. It's a video, it's a tape. Nadim Nawara was standing like this, then he was killed. Not only this, many and tens of others Palestinians was killed for nothing. Hailat Dawabshi family was killed, burned alive for nothing. Mohammed Abu Khader was burned from inside.
Talking about resistance, the Palestinian resistance to this occupation, do you not think the role of Hamas and the Palestinian jihadists in this matter, another terrorist group, according to the US, is causing more trouble for the Palestinian, for the innocent Palestinian people, when Hamas and other jihadists attack and kill the Palestinian, the Israeli people, or any of the Israeli army, they come full force. They have the power to inflict more danger, more harm on the Palestinian people. Couldn't you stop Hamas and other jihadist groups from attacking the Israeli people in the name of resisting this occupation?
I'm gonna go again because wording have a meaning. You mentioned that this is a terrorist group according to the United States, and I'm gonna add to you according also to the European countries. But by the end of the day, when you back to any issue related to Israel, you're gonna find that European country and United States fully support Israel in the majority of it.
But the United Nations
they are paying. No. The
United Nations is not in support.
No, I'm not talking. But the United Nations did not acknowledge Hamas as a terrorist group at all. No. Just the United States and the European country and some other countries.
They don't make
the United Nations. No. I'm the son of the United Nations. The United Nations did not classify Hamas or Jihad Islami, not a jihadist group, because wording have a meaning. Did not classify Hamas as a terrorist organization, and we cannot accept that to label Hamas or Jihad Islami.
So what is Hamas? Why do they continue?
Hamas is another fraction and legitimate fraction of the Palestinian people. Likewise, any other fraction, they have their way to resist the occupation. Likewise, any other occupation.
Do they constitute a threat to the peace of the Israeli army and the Israeli people?
No. The occupation is the threat for the peace. Leave Hamas and all of these stuff. You again take the bull by the horn. Go to the root cause of the problem. Don't say that just Hamas and then Jihad Islami, then Fatah and all of these. No, the problem is the occupation. The root of the problem is the Nakba itself and the injustice that the Palestinians face it since the bill for declaration, or the notorious and despicable bill for declaration.
Okay, Ambassador, we're going to quickly go and listen to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, while speaking. He spoke about the two-state solution. Even the United Nations believe in this two-state solution. Let's quickly see if my producer can get us what the Secretary General said about this two-state solution in the course of addressing the Jenin Refugee camp raid, and we'll come back to look at the position of the United Nations in this matter, and of course the position of the US and other Western countries. But while we're trying to get that, why? Okay, he's ready. Let's quickly listen to Antonio Guterres.
All acts of violence against civilians, including acts of terror. Israel's airstrikes and ground operations in a crowded refugee camp were the worst violence in the West Bank in many years, with a significant impact on civilians, including more than 100 injured and thousands forced to flee. Schools and hospitals were damaged, water and electricity networks were disrupted, and people in need were prevented from accessing essential care and relief. All those injured must have access to medical care, and humanitarian workers must be able to reach everyone in need. I once again call on Israel to abide by its obligations under international law, including the duty to exercise restraint and use only proportional force, and the duty to minimize damage and injury and respect and preserve human life. The use of airstrikes is inconsistent with the conduct of law enforcement operations. I also remind Israel, as the occupying power, that it has a responsibility to ensure that the civilian population is protected against all acts of violence. I understand Israel's legitimate concerns with its security, but escalation is not the answer. It simply bolsters radicalization and leads to a deepening cycle of violence and bloodshed. Restoring the hope of the Palestinian people in a meaningful political process, leading to a two-state solution and the end of the occupation, is an essential contribution by Israel to its own security.
Total condemnation of Israel's attack on the civilian population in the Jenin refugee camp. Clear, worse violence indicates Israel's failure to abide by international law, and then the use of air force inconsistent with law enforcement. This is the position of the United Nations. And then the fact that the UN is also acknowledging the legitimate concerns of the Israeli people and the government concerning their security. However, the call for a two-state solution. This is the UN speaking. What is the Palestinian government doing to ensure this position by the United Nations is affirmed and fully accomplished?
Again, just if someone can give us a clear definition for the legitimate Israeli security concern.
An attack on the Israeli government, an attack on the Israeli soldiers by Hamas,
I'm coming.
by the jihadist group,
by the occupier,
and other terrorists.
By the people, no. I cannot accept that to label any one of our resistant group as a terrorist group. It's not acceptable at all, especially before the Palestinian ambassador here, the Palestinian ambassador. The issue is, if there is, Israel can give us the legitimate definition of their legitimate security concern. Israel is one of the top 10 military forces all around the world. Then they are asking us, the occupier, who is living under their occupation, 24 hours, 7 days, all of I born in a refugee camp under their occupation, and they are till today considering me as a security threat to them, because I stand here before you to tell part of the truth, which is, unfortunately, we will not have the opportunity to tell the truth. But part of the truth, for them, is a security threat. Also, me as a diplomat is a security threat. The question is, do they have an exact definition so that we can discuss it? This is the security, the legitimate security Israeli concern. There is nothing called a legitimate security Israel or legitimate security concern for Israel. When it came, they are occupying us and entering our occupied territory. I should, as a Palestinian, whether I am a child or not a child, or a young man or a woman, at least to say no. When I used to say no, this is a security threat for the Israeli themselves.
What is stopping the two-state solution?
Israel. One word, clear, loud, and very clear. Israel is stopping the two-state solution. It's not our claim. This is what did the European...
The position of the United Nations is that there should be a two-state solution.
Yes.
The United Nations believes in this.
Yes,
Who is not enforcing this?
No, and also, theoretically speaking, hypocrisy speaking, the United States itself is day and night is calling for the two-state solution.
So why is it not being enforced?
Because the international community is still treating Israel as the spoily and the grumpy teenager. Israel is above all the international law. Any political commentator knowing the issue or having a good following the issue in the Middle East knows that Israel is not abiding by international...
Is it possible for the Palestinian, let's not use the word terrorist group before a Palestinian ambassador?
The only ones in Africa, no country in Africa accepting this name. Only the United States and all the Israeli supporters accepting that.
Is it possible for the Palestinian people to stop attacking?
No, just let me tell you something regarding the issue of the when it came to the issue of terrorism. Israel was acknowledged the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, as the legitimate and sole representative of the Palestinian people. And we signed an agreement with United States till today, considering the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, is a terrorist organization, while we are the chair and the executive board of the PLO was going in the White House and signed the Oslo Agreement.
Ambassador.
So that when it came to those wording, this is a pure political issue, and we know that it's not true.
Ambassador Abdullahi Shawish, Thank you so much for your time on Global Matters today. We will be reaching out to the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some response on the issues around the two-state solution, the attack, Israel's security, because the ambassador has raised what constitutes Israel's security concern. We will be reaching out to the Israeli government representatives here in Nigeria. Hopefully, we'll get some response and they'll be able to come on the show and give us their own side of the story. Ambassador, thank you so much for your time on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Sincere appreciation to the entire team that's made this happen. My name is Tunde Alabi. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.